Now, to get the fur technique, there's the front. Always remember where your front is. For your fur technique, you're going to need tip number 233 Wilton. And it's a lot easier if you go ahead and put it inside of an icing coupler because it's easier to hold it, okay? Also, forgot to mention, you might want to get something, a little brush or something because the gum paste does get stuck in there, and that way you can brush it off as you're working with your gum paste, okay? All right, so all you do is you take your tip, your 233, and we're just gonna push in and twist. It's a twisting motion, and that twisting motion is what gives your Elmo his fur look. Okay, so this is gonna take a bit, and I'll probably speed up the video right about here. Push in and twist. Make sure you get every little area. Okay, you can see the fur starting to come out. And it is a bit messy, guys. You're gonna have lots of little tiny pieces of gum paste just fall on your table, so you can always get your husband to sweep your studio when you're done. Put him to work. Okay, so at this point I pretty much got the entire surface of Elmo's torso with some fur, and of course pushing this in has messed up the shape of the holes for my legs, so good thing the gum paste is still soft, so you can just take your ball tool again and just reshape the holes where the legs are gonna go. No big deal. The key to working with gum paste, guys, is to work quickly because it does dry, okay? So there's the hole. Okay, now if you are super anal and a super perfectionist like I am, I hate the fact that where the gum paste meets the board, there's still some smooth areas, and you probably can't see it, but I know it's there and it bugs me. So what I do is I just take a sharp needle tool. You can use anything, okay, as long as it's sharp. And anywhere where there's still some flat gum paste, you can just kind of poke at it to make sure that you have the fur everywhere. Okay. Okay, these little red thingies are bugging me, so I'm gonna blow them onto my floor. Hubby sweep a little bit later. Okay, so there's the torso. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is the legs. So what you're gonna do now is you are going to take 2 toothpicks, okay, and I'm going to insert my toothpicks right in the middle of the hole where the leg is gonna go in. So I want this leg to be sticking out this way. Okay, so I'm not going to use the entire toothpick because if I push it all the way in, it might come out the back, so I'm going to cut off about that much. Okay, and I want the blunt end in the torso, that way when you push the leg onto this toothpick, the sharp part is entering the leg. Okay, so straight this way. So there you can see which way the leg is going to be pointing. Okay, my other leg is going to be coming out, his knee's going to be bent, so it's going to be coming out this way. So again, I'm going to take some off, blunt end into the torso, and his leg's going to be coming out this way, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the hole. Okay, and that's just to make sure that it's on there. You know, of course you're going to push the leg in all the way to make sure it's glued to the inside of the torso, but I always feel better having toothpicks or skewers in arms, well, not all arms, but in legs of my toppers. Okay, So now we're gonna create the legs. Again, just from feel, guys, and experience, you get an idea of how much you need. This might be enough, okay? If it's too much, you can just cut off some with your blade. Another thing I forgot to mention is you might need this sharp tool. This is a Wilton tool. It's got the scallop end, and on the other end it's got this kind of a little blade feel, okay? You need something sharp to mark in to the feet to give him his toes. A little bit of shortening. Put Elmo off to the side. Okay, again, we're getting the cracks and wrinkles out. Okay, so you start with a ball. You're gonna roll it out until you get the thickness you want for Elmo's leg. And so as I'm doing this, I'm actually looking at the torso so I can figure out when it looks right. Okay? Leave one of the ends a little bit fatter because we're gonna make that into the foot. So definitely, I got a little bit too much gum paste. This looks about right for his leg. Okay? Now what I do is I'm gonna squash the end of it just a little bit to give me a foot. Okay? Just about that much so you can see that this end is wider. Okay, I just squashed that for the foot. And then all I do is to give him his foot is I just lift and push back. Okay, there's his foot. Then you're gonna take this sharp tool and you're going to mark the toes. Elmo has 3 toes. There's his foot. Then I need to figure out the length I'm going to need this, so I know I'm going to cut some off here. So this is the way I figure out more or less how much I'm going to need. The leg will be going into the torso about 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to cut some off about here and just test it. Okay, too long. I want Elmo to look like a freak, so I'm gonna give him a little bit shorter leg. That might be still a little bit too long. That looks about right, okay, right there. So, just so you guys know, my torso is about 3.5 inches tall. The leg is about 2 1/4 inches long. Okay. So what I do is I'm actually going to give him fur before I insert the leg. Okay. And don't worry if, you know, you're squashing the fur, because after you glue it in there, you can go over it again and lift up the gum paste. Okay. So I'm just going to give the leg, and don't press down too hard or else you're going to deform the leg. Give him some fur. Okay, now from doing that, of course, some of the shape has been lost, so you just, work it back to where you had it originally. If you kind of lost the lines in your toes, just go back in and, just go back in there. No big deal. Okay. Now you're going to take your edible glue, little brush for your glue, okay? And you are going to put some glue, just a little bit, not a lot. Put some glue on the end of Elmo's leg and also around the edge on the sides and top to make sure that it'll be glued into your torso, okay? And then you can also, of course, if you feel better about it, just add a little bit of glue on the inside of the hole there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to hold the leg, make sure the toothpick is going right in the middle of the leg. And you're going to slowly push that in. Your toothpick should not be moving because remember the blunt end went into the hole. And you just gently push it in there until you know that the leg is all the way in the hole, okay? So there it is. Let me reshape my toe here a little bit. If the fur went down because you were pushing it down, just go back in there and just gently lift it again. Okay, now we're going to do the other leg. So hopefully you guys can see. That looks really cute so far. There's some parts here where I still have to lift the